Hi, Dirty Girl here with another vintage sales report from eBay and Etsy, mostly Etsy, and this is for the month of August 2018. August 2018 was my best month ever, which is kind of odd because normally August is not that great, but I did have a few high-ticket items that kind of pushed the numbers up, and also a customer, a lovely customer from New Zealand who was like ordering multiple items from me every day for a couple weeks. It was great. So that really helped also. But anyway, I'm just going to get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I have to tell you about are these botanical prints. Now I had 4 of them, and I sold all 4, and I paid $3 a piece for them at the rummage sale where my mother-in-law lives, and I sold them for between $55 and $65 a piece. And they were really cool because they were from the 1700s, and they were from this rather famous book done by Elizabeth Blackwell, and they're hand tinted, and they were just really beautiful. And I sold 2 to one person, and then I sold the other 2 separately. So that was great. And this is a Native American Navajo sterling silver and turquoise pendant, kind of an unusual looking little trapezoid shaped piece. And I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $38. And this is a sterling silver and lapis lazuli ring. It's really pretty, ornate setting, very unusual. And I paid $2 for that at the flea market. It's not marked silver, and I'm sure that the person who sold it didn't realize it was silver, but I tested it and it was. So I sold that for $38. And here's a canatile, which is the name for this wire work. It is a sterling silver, or sorry, excuse me, 800 silver, so not quite sterling, but it was old, little butterfly brooch, and I paid $14 for that at the flea market. It's pretty big, and it sold for $34, so not a huge profit margin on that one. And this is a Victorian brooch. It's sterling silver and amethyst, and just a really pretty design. And I paid $15 for that at the flea market and sold it for $48. This is an old Coro brooch. I thought it was a really pretty one with these faux Baroque pearls and all the rhinestones and everything. It was in nice condition. It had a mark that indicated it was pre-1955, and I paid $2.50 for that and sold it for $32. And this, not a very good picture, but it's a cast iron coffee bean roaster. I think maybe you could possibly use it for popcorn too. It's a great big heavy thing, very heavy, probably dating from around the 1920s, maybe a little earlier. And I paid $15 for that at the flea market and sold it for $84. I did sit on it for a while, but it sold. And this is another Victorian brooch, a little bit different style, a little more plain and simple, but it also has an amethyst. Amethyst jewelry was really, really popular in Victorian times, and it was also, amethysts were more valuable back then because they were more scarce. A lot of the deposits hadn't been discovered yet. Anyway, this, let's see, I paid $10 for this at the flea market and sold it for $42. And this is another lapis lazuli ring with a beautiful inset pattern in sterling silver. Just thought the workmanship on this ring was very nice. I paid $15 for that and at the flea market and sold it for $49. And this is a scarab bracelet, and all of the scarabs are out of real stone, agate and lapis and rose quartz, tiger's eye. Really, really pretty. And that I paid $2.50 for at the flea market, and I sold it for $38. And this is a citrine ring, nice big oval stones, set with these real pale amethysts. It was a really pretty ring, and I sold that. I paid $10 for that at the flea market, and I sold it for $52. And this, I just fell in love with this when I saw it. This is a Mexican sterling silver, and it's turquoise, coral, and amethyst in this really neat medallion with the chain also had these dangling turquoise stones. And technically, I guess I really didn't completely sell it till this month, which is September, because it was in layaway. But the sale started in August, and the last payment was made this month. But anyway, it was $65 is what I sold it for, and I paid $15 for that at the flea market. And if you saw my last haul video, you probably saw that I got this Baccarat decanter at the rummage sale, and I paid $3 for it. Didn't even realize it was Baccarat till I got it home. I almost had a heart attack. And I sold it for $399. So that was one of the big ticket items. Now you can sell a lot of $15 items, or you can sell one $400 item, and I really prefer the latter. So this is a 10 carat, 10 carat gold ring for the Ephesian Society. This came in a bunch of stuff that a friend gave me, so I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $110. It was pretty low price for a gold ring, but it was such a specialized thing, and I have been sitting on it for a while. And this is another big ticket item. This came from my mother-in-law, so I paid nothing for it. And it's a chalkware bust. It's a pretty famous piece by a rather well-known artist named Esther Hunt. And I thought it was just beautiful. It's from the 1920s. And I sold it for $499. Yay! And this is a filet crochet bedspread, great big king-sized one, covers my whole sofa. And this I got at the flea market for $15, and it was absolutely perfect condition. I don't think it had ever been used. It was really, really beautiful. And I sold it for $95. Sold almost immediately. I probably could have gotten a lot more for it, but I was happy with that. So all of these big ticket things sold in just like a couple of days. I had like 4 items that were over, well, in the hundreds of dollars. So it was a happy week for me. So this is a rose quartz little shallow bowl. It could be used for a soap dish or for change. I got this at the rummage sale. I paid $1 for it and sold it for $38. And this is some Metropolitan Museum of Art jewelry. Anytime you find museum store jewelry, it's usually a good bet to buy it if you can get it at a good price, because it's often really good quality, and it seems to sell pretty well, at least for me. These are, Egyptian revival scarabs, more scarabs, earrings and a necklace, and really pretty shiny gold. They had very little wear to them. And paid $4 for those at the rummage sale, and they sold for $48. And this was so weird. I got this at the rummage sale also. I really bought it for the picture frame, but it had this bizarro painting / photograph in it of this Victorian family in mourning. And what it was a photograph that had been printed on a canvas and then hand painted over. It was really interesting. But anyway, I did buy it for the frame, and I paid $5 for it and sold it for $35. And this is a stamped, embossed copper vase, probably, well, definitely either Middle Eastern or Persian. I wasn't able to figure out which. But these sell pretty well, I found out. And I think I paid quite a bit for this. Yeah, I paid $15 for this, and then I sold it for $38. But the good news is that I found another one at the flea market that was much bigger and cost less. So since I knew that it had sold right away, I went ahead and bought it. Getting ready to list it now. And this was a whole set of Johnson Brothers. I think they're Johnson Brothers. Old Britain is the pattern. Red and white cups and saucers. I had 4 of them. I paid $12 for the set of 4 and sold it for $40. But I will say I have been sitting on it forever. So this was a neat thing. It's a World War II map reader. It's some kind of a thing that they use for reading topographical maps. And it came with a case that said US on it. It's really neat. Anytime I can pick up military stuff for a decent price, I do. I did pay a bit much for this. I paid $25 for it because I didn't know what it was and I thought it might be really valuable. There are others out there. It wasn't super valuable, but I sold it for $55. So I made a little profit on it. And this is another one of my big ticket items. This I got at the flea market for $20. It is an antique Victorian marquetry box. This was just so pretty. Show you a couple other pictures of it so you can really appreciate what a nice box it was. Just beautiful inlay work, and it had the old silk lining and everything, so you knew it was old. And I said Victorian, but then I said 1700s right here. I wonder if that was a mistake. I don't think that's 1700s. Well, anyway, it did sell for $199. And let's see, did I tell you what I paid for it? I paid $20 for it. And some more jet jewelry. These were some bead cluster earrings, possibly jet. I wasn't 100% sure they were. They were definitely old, though, from the 40s or 50s. And I got those from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for those, and they sold for $34. And these were some big 1980s sterling silver earrings, and they were from the jewelry maker Zena, and they were some really, really early work of hers when she was hiring Mexican silversmiths to do her. She would do the designs and then send them to Mexico. I even sent a picture of them to the Zena company to get some information about them, and they were very surprised to see them. They said, oh my goodness, that's some of the very first earrings that she did. But anyway, let's see. Those also came from my sister-in-law. I paid nothing for those, and they sold for $55. And some more earrings. These are turquoise and black onyx, and just a really neat design. Each of these little squares is separate, and they have little hinges that connect them all, so they move around in interesting ways. And I paid $15 for those at the flea market and sold them for $47. And then just a couple of sales on eBay. This art box, there was a lot of interest in this. Really neat, about dating from maybe the 1920s, with all these little ink bottles and pen nibs and leads, pencil leads, and some rulers and pens, and it was just a neat old box. And that sold. What did I pay for that? I paid $18 for that, and it sold for $64. I had it priced quite a bit higher at first, and I was getting a lot of lookers but no takers, so I did lower the price on that. And then the last thing were these very cool antique spurs, well, early 20th century spurs. They had tooled leather, and these buckles were sterling silver, and the maker on them was Kelly Brothers, and there's a lot of information about Kelly Brothers spurs online, and I was able to date them from 1911 to 1938. So at least I had it narrowed down a little bit. The antique spurs sell really well, and I paid $35 for these and sold them at auction for $202.50. So yeah, so it was a really nice month, and September is going pretty well also. So thank you for watching, and if you are interested in looking at my stuff, it is at, let's see if I can go to my store. Vintage Dazzle is the name of my store on Etsy. And there you can see some of my current listings. There's the second of my copper vases, just listed it. Another, that's a lap desk. Pretty cool. Art Nouveau brooch. That's a really nice one, a really old one. Love this tray. Got some Venetian glass, got an antique Chinese box, some egg coddlers. I got a lot of cool stuff. So come visit me, and thanks for watching, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and comment if you like, and I will see you later. Thanks. Bye.